Alright folks, we're out here in the 2014 Hemi Dodge Ram. Look at the big 5.7, 160,000, almost even on the clock. Money lights on. I'm told it's an EVAP code of sorts. And it was probably over a year ago I put a fuel filler neck and cap on this thing because it was rusted out, leaking, according to my notes. Well, that's weird. Says it's on 0. Still talking. Okay. So let's see here. Let's let this thing get connected. We'll see what kind of code we have. Alright, she just connected. Let her get ID'd and all that stuff and show you guys what's up here. Hopefully we can figure it out. Alright, we'll just do a full system scan as we often do. Okay, 3 codes in the engine controller. We'll go to report. Purge system performance, small leak and large leak. Awesome. So let's hop in the engine controller here. Let me get some data PID selected. We'll look at the ESIM switch, we'll look at the purge, and we'll look at the fuel tank pressure sensor. That'll usually give us a pretty good assessment as to what's going on, generally speaking, if I'm thinking about this system correctly. So let's go up here, we'll search, we'll go ESI. Okay, ESIM switch. Alright, let's find our purge. Alright, there's our purge. And then we'll see if we can find fuel tank pressure. I don't know what they... Fuel tank volume, fuel tank pressure. Okay, they must be standard at 2.5 volts. Okay, let's fire this pig up. Ooh. Hemi Thunder. So what we're going to do now... Oh, interesting. You see that? Already know what's wrong with it. Let's go key off. Engine on. See if that goes back to atmospheric pressure. Oh, that's interesting. I don't think the ESIM switch would hold it already, do you? Let's go out here. Oh, actually, before we pop that, where are we at? Minus 0.51 inches. Okay. Let's see if we just went back to atmospheric pressure. Ta-da! Okay, if you guys see what's going on, who knows what's wrong with this thing already. Minimum, we're going to go minus 10, max 10. Okay. That's probably not fine enough there, Rocco. Yeah, it is. Okay, let's do this. Minus 2. Got a little finer. Okay, we're going to start it up. Who could tell me what's wrong with this vehicle? Just like that. We already know what's wrong with it. So that was easy. Alright. Shut it off. Key on. It's pulling the tank into a vacuum. And our purge isn't even turned on. Now if we go out here, we do this again. Put that back on. What do you think is going to happen? Bada bing, bada boom. Alright, well that was easy. Let's go order a part. This is a no parts. Well, it is a no part. It is a parts required. You ding dong. And that's it. Everything else looks good. Technically, let's change this. Let's make sure our ESIM switch works. We don't want to get slid on that. We'll go minus 10 again. And then 10. Let's start it here. And I don't remember at what pressure the ESIM switch goes closed, but when we hit a certain amount of vacuum, our switch should go closed. I believe the switch is working because it's holding vacuum. ESIM is short for Emission System Integrity Monitor, I think, something like that. We'll see here. We'll let it sit here and build vacuum and see if our switch goes closed. And if our switch works, then huzzah. Even though our tank's not supposed to be under vacuum right now. So this is due to a leaking purge valve. Yep, there we go. So it went closed. Now if we go key off, let it build a little more vacuum. Key on, engine off. Our switch should remain closed until it hits that vacuum threshold again. It's kind of a neat system. It uses some natural vacuum leak detection. Chrysler's used this for a while. I was really happy when they started putting the fuel tank pressure sensor in the circuit, or in the system. Made it really handy because Chrysler didn't run one of those for the longest time. But yeah, we can see it. Oh, there we go. Pop back open. So at negative 1.35 or something like that. Because if we fire it up, yep. Okay, so right around that threshold. So if anybody's wondering, around 2.7 volts, fuel tank pressure sensor, negative 1.35 inches of water. That's about when that ESIM switch opens and closes. You could probably find that information in service data. So, all right, yeah, we've got a leaking purge valve because that's the only way we could get vacuum in a tank like that. Easy peasy. Now this is not a, oh, switch just went open it. Well, you can't see. Trust me, it just opened back up. Not a very good in-depth explanation for you folks as far as how the Chrysler ESIM system works. Now I do remember back when Mike was at Wells Electronics or NGK, whatever they went on YouTube, he did a couple really nice in-depth videos on the different Chrysler EVAP systems. Their NBLD, their LDP, their ESIM. Chrysler went through a bunch of EVAP systems. The Emission System Integrity Monitor, which is the ESIM, the NBLD, which is the natural vacuum leak detection, the LDP, which is the leak detection pump. They had all these variations of these really bizarre, EVAP systems, and I don't know why they tried to do what they tried to do. It's just like GM, they've just never got it right, and they just keep changing. And what's weird is other manufacturers use similar, almost the exact same systems, have absolutely no problems with them. So it's kind of bizarre to see, like GM has used the purge and purge and vent style system, fuel tank pressure, and they fail continually. Purge valves, vent valves, tank pressure sensors. And take Honda, for example, not to, single them out or compare them, same exact system, purge and vent, pressure sensor. Rarely do you see those fail. You do, but it's not very often. You'll get a purge valve on one of those that's stuck. So I don't know. It's just really bizarre. Systems function exactly the same. This one's a giant pile of crap. This one actually works. Same thing with Ford, Nissan, Honda, GM. They all run the exact same style system. But yeah, I don't know. Anyhow, I'm going to go see if I can get us an OEM purge valve. We'll bring it in, we'll verify it. But at this point, we don't even need to pull the truck in the shop. We could probably just fix it here in the parking lot. Let's see where does the old purge live on these little guys? Anywhere's convenient. Let's see where the hose goes down. Down around town. Oh, okay, she's right over here. Let's get something to get this thing off. that one. What we got here? Oh, you piss pot, what do we got? There's that. There's that. Ah, you figure.
You know, one time I was going through the parking lot in Diagnostics and I see the owner out there looking at it.
All right, we'll cut you around, Dave.
Shit, I gotta rearrange this truck now because
oh, better plug it up. Plugged back up. Let's see. Which way did this thing go? Something like that, I believe. Slipper back on. Hook it back up. Bada bing, bada boom. It's the OEM. I don't know if you guys can see the part number there in case you need it. Oh, let's see, I can see it. Made in Mexico, 4062 76904 Alpha Bravo. Right from Mopar. Not very expensive. Pretty inexpensive part. Hey, guide me in, baby. I'm gonna slip that back in them two holes in the back. If we can. Oh, I think I felt it. And then there's that one little donger over here that lines up right there. Give her one of those. That ain't going nowhere. You have to say that, otherwise it'll go somewhere. Slide that baby in. Boom, we're done. We're out of here. No testing required. No fancy testing anyway. Just a little driver's seat diagnosis, we call it. Snug that one up. Get this one here snugged up. Then we'll go grab the torque wrench. We'll torque these down to factory specs, as we always do. Oh. Hey-oo. Close enough. Close enough till we get the torque wrench, that is, let's be honest. What we'll do now is we'll plug it back up. And not too many days in February you get to work outside in the PRNY. We'll just go ahead and start it because we know it's fixed, right? Alright, let's see. I guess we'll shut it back up because we need to clear the codes. So we'll go back in here. And then we wait. Now we gotta go trouble codes. And then we're going to erase those codes. Alright, good job. Fired up. We'll go back into live data. We should have saved our data list from before, but we didn't. Let's see, so we're gonna just pick it out again, be easy enough. It's gonna take a little bit for the purge to open anyway. So we're gonna go purge. Duty cycle. And then we want fuel tank pressure. Fuel tank pressure. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, car's running. We can see we're not pulling it under a vacuum, so we confirm that it's fixed. Plus, I gave the purge a little sucky, and you could suck through it. Not very hard, but you could. What we should see here is a slight increase in pressure as that fuel warms up. Truck's running, probably a return system, returning fuel back to the tank, and then we're going to see it slowly increase in pressure. Pretty normal. We're just going to wait for the purge valve to open here. We want to see that, and as soon as that purge opens, we're going to watch our positive pressure go to negative pressure, and then we're going to watch the ESIM switch go closed. All right, that's the plan. But now we wait. goodness. Finally. I took it for a little drive here to warm it up. Man, I thought these purge valves would kick on usually within the first 3 or 4 minutes typically, but must be we weren't meeting the criteria. So let's take and pull over here. I just figured I'd take her for a little toot, warm it up. Turn around down here. Let's see. So we're back in park. And I'm going to assume we're going to have some purge action again. Or not. Gosh, we could just use bi-directional controls at this point. I just figured I wanted to watch it kind of work under its own power here, so let's just go for a cruise again. Oh, there we go. I don't think it'll do it when we're sitting here idling, right? No. Or sitting here idling in gear anyways. I'll just hold it just off in idle, but alright, well, we can obviously see that it works. Purge valve turns on, ESIM switch goes closed, pulls the tank into a vacuum, we let her back to an idle, the purge valve snaps back shut, and it should maintain vacuum and keep the switch closed until, the pressure overcomes it at what, negative 1.35 or whatever it was we determined. Okay, gosh. Generally speaking, I thought I just did these idling, but typically when I do it, the engine's warmed up, but we did this thing cold. We're getting a purge event there. Tank back into a vacuum. Alright, yeehaw. Alright, we made her back to the shop, just sitting here idling in drive. We can see we're about 13% purge. And everything looks like it's working as it should. And the main thing is that we don't have a purge during a non-purge event. I think that's how, oops, I forgot to put it in park. I think that's how GM puts it. Yeah, because if we had purge when we started it, it would be just like our, like the original one there. We would watch this thing running, no purge command, and then we would see it pulling into a vacuum. So, pretty common, easy peasy. Send this guy on his way. So that's it, folks. Driver's seat diagnosis in your HEMI powered Dodge Ram for a stuck purge valve that set 3 different codes. I don't recall what they were. Small leak, large leak, and purge performance, something along those lines. Fuel tank pressure sensor performance, I'm not real sure. All caused by the same problem. And if you know what data PID to look at and have a basic understanding of the function of the system, it's a pretty easy one to diagnose. And you don't need to pull it in the shop, as you saw. So that's pretty easy. Now you can go way off into the weeds talking about a partially shorted driver in the PCM or some really other obscure thing and drag out scopes and meters and all this other stuff. And I'm not saying they don't have a value in the shop. Obviously we use them, but there are cases where you don't need it. And this is one of those cases. Now, could that happen? Yeah. I've never seen it in 27 years of doing this, so I don't know. We're just going with what we know. But yeah, we could look at that stuff, but we didn't, and we were right, and it worked, and we proved our repair. So anyhow, why don't you guys prove to me that you're real? Go into that comment section, leave us a comment, follow us on the Insta, the Facebook, and just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.